Sure, Adrian.
Great. Yeah, we'll get started in about 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Let's get started. So welcome everyone today to our joint webinar with WAE Solutions. Our webinar today is in regards to automatically updating the exchange rates in SAP, specifically focused around transactions TBD4 and OB08. Go to the next slide. So my name is David Milano, along with Adrian Wilder. Today will be the presenters. I am the CEO of Realtek, who is the reseller here in the US for WAE Solutions. And Realtek has been around for over 25 years. And we're really focused on change in SAP transport management. We have a product called Smart Change, as well as helping customers perform migrations to S/4HANA or HANA, Suite on HANA. And we've been doing this since the early 90s and performed thousands of migrations around the world. Realtek was founded in Waldorf, Germany, right around the block from SAP. And since 1994, focused on helping customers optimize their SAP landscape, specifically around SAP Basis or managed services for SAP Basis, doing technical upgrades as well as migrations. Realtek Inc. is based out of Malvern, PA, close to Philadelphia, right around the block from the Newtown Square headquarters. We have 2,000 worldwide customers, over 200 technical consultants worldwide, and we've been a trusted partner with SAP for over 25 years. Next slide. So our offerings here in the US, along with WAE Solutions solution, basically we focus on Smart Change. So with Smart Change, we have a couple different modules, change process management and transport management, which are comparable to the SAP Charm solution. Synchronization management, which is really helps customers do retrofits between their Dev 1 and Dev 2 environments. And then interface management. And our interface management solution helps customers monitor, develop, alert on interfaces to SAP to streamline. Let's say, excuse me, a good example is you have 100 interfaces, or you think you have 100 interfaces, but when you put in interface management, you really have 101. So if there's a problem, you can really dig down into interface manager and see the differences and what's wrong with that interface and fix it pretty quickly. Along with that, on our services side, S/4HANA and Suite on HANA migrations on-premise or, of course, to the cloud, SAP technical upgrades, managed services for basis. So we'll optimize your basis team or augment your basis team with our consultants. And then any kind of solution manager projects, specifically around 7.2 or integration to solution manager is what we focus on. So with that, I'll turn it over to Adrian Wilder, who will tell you a little bit about the Exchange interface conversion solution. Adrian?
Well, Dave, thanks very much for your words, for introduction. And what we are going to show you is the solution that we developed a little bit longer than 7 years ago that we use for automating the entries of the different exchange rates in SAP. This solution was developed based on a request that we had for a customer in which they had a problem in which they were entering the exchange rates 3 days after the other in a wrong way. They were multiplying the values by 10. This was because the person in charge of this activity was on vacation, and the person that did the replacement did not pay attention to all the warnings that appeared when she was entering the values. Imagine all what they had to fix in financial accounting, but specific in the material ledger accounting. So they asked us to find a solution to prevent that this happened again in the future. So we started to think on a solution with the following goals. First of it was to transform the way in which the exchange rates are being entered in SAP and to try to do this process in an automatic way so that our customers do not have to depend on a person for performing this activity. And two goals that were together were to use standard SAP customizing and not to use any set development for this. So by starting to search into the SAP functionality, we found that there is a standard transaction, which is the TBD4 transaction. And this transaction allows, with a specific customizing, SAP to get connected to the internet to somewhere, and based on the currencies that are defined in this customizing, it will read the different exchange rates that are in this specific website. So the TBD4 transaction reads these different exchange rates, and with this information, automatically in a standard way, it populates the table TCURR, which is the same table that for sure you know that you populate manually every day with the OB08 transaction. So what we did a development on the internet that automatically every single hour we visit virtually over 100 different central banks worldwide. We read the different exchange rates that are published on those websites, and we store all this information in a database. And this database has a particularity that it is in the same format that the TBD4 transaction needs. So every SAP installation worldwide can connect with a specific customizing to our solution, and based on that, it can automate the whole process for automating the different exchange rates that are needed for the daily operation. Other of the goals was having reliable information. That's why we always take the information from the central banks for every country. This is the official rates that are published for every different currency in every country. Also, to have access to the data in real time, since we have customers that go from India or Dubai in Asia and to Mexico in America, that they update the rates in different times. we always get all the latest exchange rates every single hour. So every hour we refresh our data with the different exchange rates that are published in every central bank. And of course, one important thing was to offer this solution at an affordable price, so that the price is not something important at the moment that the customer has to evaluate the solution. We want the customer that it evaluate the solution for all the benefits that it gives, and that the price should not be a problem at the moment of evaluating our solution. So how it works? Once the customizing is being done, what we do is we plan a job, usually during the night, for the TBD4 transaction. Every time that the TBD4 transaction gets executed, it connects to our database automatically, and based on the different currencies that are defined in the customizing, we read with the TBD4 transaction the different exchange rates that we obtained from the different central banks. We send this information to the TBD4 transaction, and the standard TBD4 transaction populates the table TCURR automatically. So the same rates that the user can see at a specific website are the same rates that go automatically to SAP, that they can see it in the OB08 transaction. This is the TBD4 transaction. What we do is we save a selection variant for this transaction, and we plan a job to be executed every day at the same time, just with these parameters. Every time that the transaction gets executed, the user will see a report like this one, where he can see the different exchange rates that were populated in the TCURR table in SAP with the specific value. I have here an example from some time ago for the Argentine peso against the US dollar at a value of 44.97. If at the same moment I visited the website for the official rates for Argentina, I could say that the values were the same, 44.97 pesos for $1. And this value is the same one that goes to the table TCURR automatically. So after the TBD4 transaction is executed, the user can enter to the UBC08 transaction, and he will see there the same value that it is online at this same moment in the specific website. Also, what we can do also with SAP standard functionality is that every time that the job is executed during the night, that an email is being sent to a distribution list. Usually in the distribution list are the members from the accounts payable department, treasury department, or even sales or accounting department. And in this email, they will have an attachment. And in the attachment, they will have the result of the TBD4 transaction. So they will see day by day which is the specific rate that has been populated for a specific pair of currencies. This mail is being sent automatically from SAP every time that the job is being executed in SAP. So they will have here the result of every execution in their email every night. And here we have some of the over 100 different sources that we have already developed, from which we get the different exchange rates every single hour. All these countries and banks that you can see here are the ones that we visit virtually, automatically every single hour, and we obtain the information in an automatic way to provide these different exchange rates to every SAP installation that they need. Advantages of the solution is, of course, to automate the entries of the different exchange rates. If you need to update 15 different exchange rates, you do not need to plan 15 times the same job. You just plan it for one time, and the same job updates all the different currency combinations that you need in the same moment. It's always based in the official sources, which are the central banks defined for every country. We will use always standard SAP customizing, and the user will get an email with the different exchange rate that were populated in SAP, so they have the specific result of every execution in their inbox. And take into consideration that if in the future you need to add more currencies or more countries, this is really very easy to be done, and we will help you, of course, for performing this action. Regarding the technical side, you will get always the execution log for every time that the job is being executed. It is a job that is being defined in the SN36 transaction with a daily repetition, and we will use always standard SAP customizing and no ABAP development are needed. Everything is defined in the standard SAP customizing. And one of the most important things is that our solution is hosted with AWS, with Amazon, so we have it available 100% of the time. For every company that is interested in trying our solution, what we offer them is 30 days of free testing of our solution. In these 30 days, every company can test it in their development system, in their quality assurance system, or even in their production system, the solution according to the currencies that every company needs to be updated. The idea is that every interested company can try it by themselves in their own SAP system to see it with the really needs that they have. You can try it for the complete version for all the banks that we have available, and you can try it every night for 30 days. And take into consideration that the SAP customizing is also included in this free testing. Regarding the configuration, it takes really a very short time. It takes a few hours. The last implementations that we did were in around 3 to 4 hours. In some others could take a little bit longer. It depends sometimes on the connections, but it's really a very short time. What we do is we send an Excel file in which the different currency combinations need to be completed here. We need to know which are the different exchange rates type that you are going to automate, from which currency to which currency. You need to automate the process if you charge it in the first column or in the second column in the OB0X transaction, and which is the source from which you take always the different exchange rates when you populate this data with the OB0X transaction. So the idea is that with this Excel file, we can do the customizing so that the solution works in the same way that it works when you complete the data manually every day in your SAP system. Once we have this Excel file completed by the customer, we have to do the customizing. For this, we offer 3 options to our customers. The first one is that they give us access to their development system, and we do the customizing and we document it for the customer. The second option, which is the option that I always recommend, is to do a remote session in which we are going to do the customizing together, and we show you in detail, step by step, how to perform the customizing. So the customer has later the know-how of the process. And the third option is that we do the customizing in another SAP system and we document it so the customer can reproduce it in their own SAP development system. Any of the 3 solutions is okay for us, although we always recommend the second one. but the customer is, in this case, who decides which option he prefers. Here we did a measurement about the different activities that are involved in entering the one exchange rate manually in the OB08 transaction, which is here in the left column. You can see that entering just one record manually in the OB08 transaction takes around half a minute. By the other side, using our solution takes around 10 seconds for all the currencies that the customer needs. So there is a difference in time, but also in the quantity of the different exchange rates that are going to be populated in the table TCURR. And here we have the differences between both processes. In the manual process, you have to enter the values manually one by one. With our solution, all the values are being entered manually in an automatic way. Of course, doing this activity in a manual way has the possibility of entering some values in a wrong way with errors. With our solution, all the values that are populated are the same values that are in the website for this specific bank. With the manual process, if the user is on vacation, if he's sick or he arrives late, you know perfectly what occurs. With our solution, this transaction is being executed every day at the same time, also on Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. And with the manual option, you do not have a standard report which gives you which is the specific rate on a specific date that you need. For searching for this information, you have to use technical transactions like the SE16. By the other side, with our solution, you will receive always by email the result of the execution, and you will have day by day, currency by currency, the detail of every currency that has been populated in the TCURR table. So you can keep this information from an auditing process that you could have maybe sometime. And here we have some of the over 110 customers that are at this time using our solution. In brackets, you can see the countries from which they update the different exchange rates, and we have customers in around 20 or 22 different countries, I think, up to now. We have customers in Dubai, in India, in Turkey, in Europe, and whole Latin America. And here we have the experience of some of our customers that have been using the solution for many years. We have customers that are using this solution for over 7 years that are automating this process every night by populating all the currencies that they need. So everything that I was explaining you, I will show you how it works in SAP. So I will enter to an SAP system, and I will run manually the same transaction that is going to be executed automatically by the customer. This is the TBD4 transaction. I just enter a few parameters and I hit on currencies. I execute it, and you will see that it takes a little time, just around 10 to 15 seconds, even less, around 5 seconds. And here you have the detail of every currency that has been updated in SAP with the specific value. We can see an example. Look, for example, this one. I have the Mexican peso against the US dollar at a value of 19.8532. If I go to the official website for Mexico, which is the Banco de Mexico, and I look for the value for the US dollar, I see that the value is this one, 19.8532. 8532. If I return to SAP, I can see that I have here the same value in the process. And if I go to the transaction UV08, we can see that we have the same value populated there. I will search from MXN to USD, and I have here 19.8532. And this is the same value that I have here in the official website for the Banco de Mexico. So up to here was my intention to show you how the solution works. I don't know if you want to add something, Dave or Carly, or if there are some questions.
Yeah, sorry. A couple questions, Adrian. So does it matter? Can you test this in any system, or does it have to be a specific, development system?
Yes, this can be done in ECC or in S/4HANA. It's for every version, and the testing can be done in the development system, in the quality assurance system, or even the production system. Usually, our customers test it just for one time in the development system and then set up the test for 2 weeks in their quality assurance system. And once they see that it is working okay according to the needs and according to the requirement that was defined for the customizing, they do the last 2 weeks of the free testing in their production system, so they can see there every time the different exchange rates that are being updated. If during the test time in the production system they find that there is a value that it is not okay with the value that they needed to enter, there is a possibility with the OB08 transaction to overwrite the value that the TBD4 transaction populated. So anything that has not been detected in quality assurance systems can be very fast fixed manually with the OB08 transaction.
Okay, perfect. And then can you add additional currencies to the application?
Yes, sure. Every week we are adding at least one additional country, and we have the requirements for many customers to add new countries and new currency combinations to countries that they had previously. So this is really very easy to be performed. It's just to add some entries into the customizing, and the user will have always our support for performing this activity. But the answer is yes, it's very easy, and it's really very common. It's because they find something, a new requirement, according to a person that travels to a specific country, and you do not have these exchange rates, and the person goes then back and has to do their travel expenses. So you have then, with our solution, the specific rates that they need for these specific exchange rates.
Perfect. That's all I have for today, Adrian. I really appreciate you taking the time out to do the webinar today with us, and we look forward to following up with everyone who attended and getting back to you to let you know how we can help you further with our solution. So thank you, Adrian.
No, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.